Hi, this is Jesse Sloan, Executive Director of the American Association for Critical Illness Insurance, with a brief primer, a consumer's guide to your heart attack risk and how critical illness insurance can play a role and a benefit to you. So here are the harsh realities for every American, male or female, in the United States. Every 40 seconds, someone in America has a heart attack. That's going to be 2,200 of us today. 800,000 this year alone, and 3/4 of those are first heart attacks. About a quarter are what they call recurrent or second or third heart attacks. The average age when a heart attack hits is a little bit younger for men, typically just around 65. For women, it's a little bit older. But the average ages are misleading because the average doesn't mean anything to you. You're not average. So let's look at what really happens. I've given a breakdown here of 3 different age bands. If you're between 45 and 54, if you're a male, 75 out of 1,000 men will have a heart attack this year if they're between 45 and 54. That number increases to 125. That's 10% plus 12% are going to be diagnosed with a heart attack. Women have fewer heart attacks at these younger ages. After 70, women are more likely to, they surpass men in the number of heart attacks that they have. So it's really a very personal matter. You have a real risk. Here's the good news. 90%, 90% of Americans who have a heart attack are going to survive. That's because we have really good emergency care treatment and medical treatment. But surviving a heart attack comes with enormous cost today. That's the reality. Even if you have health insurance, it's not going to cover everything. You're going to have high deductibles, co-pays. You're very likely going to have to take time off for work, for treatment, and more importantly, to recover. You may have to start a totally new job. When that happens, how will you be paying your bills? That's the important fact. Many Americans declare bankruptcy every year, mostly because of health-related conditions, and most of them had health insurance when it first happened. That's where critical illness insurance comes in. It's an affordable, you might be surprised how low it costs. It's an affordable way to get a lump sum payment, a cash payment upon diagnosis. The payment isn't made to a care provider, a doctor, anybody else. You get the cash to use as you see fit, as you need. So here are a couple of tips that we want to share with you. Tip number 1 is compare your coverages and costs. There's 60 or so insurance companies out there who offer various forms of critical illness insurance. You want to compare them because not just costs will vary, the options will vary. We believe that it's very important for you to look for one policy that gives you 2 options, a cancer insurance only option and a comprehensive critical illness insurance. If you're in your 40s, you might look and say, you know what, my biggest risk or my biggest fear is cancer. And so a cancer insurance only policy will cost about 1/3, but you want to be able to compare. Some tips, some things to watch out for. Some insurance companies charge smokers and non-smokers the exact same premium. And what that means is that if you don't smoke or use tobacco products, you are subsidizing the added risk of smokers. So you want a policy, I think, that has both rates, especially if you're a non-smoker. Some policies charge men and women the same amount. So if you're 45, a man's going to pay the same as a woman. But a woman actually has a higher risk of certain illnesses. Women get breast cancer at younger ages. So, you want to shop around and find a policy that is priced best for who and what you are. You want to look and read very carefully to see if there are any added fees. Many people like to buy their critical illness insurance or the cancer-only insurance and pay monthly. Some companies will charge an added fee if you choose to pay monthly. There's no reason to have that happen. And some others will add fees that get buried but that add to your costs. So you want to watch for those things. And then lastly, you want to think about how long you want coverage for. Because let's say you're 55 today. Well, you may want your critical illness insurance to continue just until you start getting Social Security, you're on Medicare. So might be 65, 66, 67. And then you look and say, you know what, by that time I'll be retired. I don't need this anymore. A policy that's priced that way will likely be cheaper than a policy that's going to cover you up until age 89 or 90, when you have a much higher likelihood of a critical illness. So you want to think about that. Nobody tells you those things because it will save you money now. One of the best places to start getting information is the American Association for Critical Illness Insurance website. Here's the shortcut to it. It's www.aacii.org. We have an instant private cost calculator where you can get a good estimate of costs. We have a ton of information. I would urge you to come and to learn more. And thanks for watching this video.